Hello everyone, welcome to An Abundance of Books. My name is Julia and today we're going to be talking about my goals for a year straight out of science fiction, 2022. It doesn't make any sense. But whether or not it makes sense, we must have goals to go with it. So today I have 8 goals to bring you. In reviewing how I did with my goals for 2021, there were definitely some that I was like, oh, I should probably try to carry that forward, like reading diversely and going easy on the book buying. But those are both things that I think just like in general I should try to do. So I didn't formalize them as goals this year, but like in general, to be a good reader, a good person, those are also goals. But today I have 8 to bring you, and the first goal is my Goodreads reading challenge number. I'm going to set it at 50 again. I'm going to read around 125 books this year, which blows my mind, but I still want to make sure that it is a number that is attainable regardless of what 2022 throws at us. And 50 is still a stupid number of books to read, and I'll probably just end up doing what I did this year, which is setting it to 50. Once I surpass that, setting it to 100 and seeing where we go from there. Goal number 2 is something new I'm introducing this year. I'm going to be doing the Book Riot Read Harder challenge, which I'm very excited about. I found that I was really good with my reading this year and I wanted to challenge myself because I read about 10 books in a month, and some of those should be a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but not too far, and there's a good amount of flexibility with Read Harder. I'll link it in the description if you're interested, but it's 24 challenges based on a variety of things. Some award winners are mentioned. Lots of the prompts are about like by an author of color or an LGBTQ+ author. It sounds really interesting and just challenging enough for my skill level, I guess. Goal number 3, I'm very happy that I can actually do this year because I want to do the Buzzword Readathon again. I wasn't sure if Books and Law was going to run it again, but she is, and I'm very excited. There are 12 prompts, one for each month, and I just have to read a book that meets the prompt in the title in that month. I'm over explaining it. It's really easy. I'll link to her announcement video as well, but that's something I did this year that I really enjoyed and want to carry it through. And again, a challenge that is like not really a challenge, more just like a fun game, which are the best challenges, the challenges that aren't really challenges. Don't drink every time I say challenges. Goal number 4 is to finally implement my TBR game. If you remember, I did a whole series of TBR trials on my channel where I tried out a new TBR game, and I have selected one of those. You'll be seeing that TBR very shortly with all of the rules and stuff explained, but my goal is to do that, I want to say all year, but I want to make sure that I do it right and I have fun with it. Ideally, I would like it to go for the whole year, but I think my goal is more just to like have a TBR game that works and that I enjoy. That's all really wordy, just to say I want to have a TBR game in whatever form that takes. Goal number 5, I want to start using Storygraph. I know everyone is talking about Storygraph and how it's better than Goodreads. I don't quite believe them, but I want to give it a chance and see what it has to offer, and getting away from Amazon is always good. So I want to give it a fair shot and use it for a good amount of time. Ideally, again, the whole year, but if I hate it, I'm not going to force myself to keep using it beyond like, let's say 3 months. I'm committing to 3 months of it, and hopefully by then I will have figured out exactly how I like to use it. I'm hoping that Storygraph will be good, or maybe I'll find a bunch of other tracking apps that will work for me too. Goal number 6 is don't be afraid of big books. I am very afraid of big books. I went through my stats for this year so far, and I have read 2 books that were over 500 pages. And one of them was Illuminae, which like doesn't really count. This book is definitely not as long as its 600 pages would suggest. But there are a lot of books that I want to read that I'm just intimidated by, so I just have to get over it. I want to read at least 5 books that are over 500 pages. Immediately that seems like too few. Instead, let's say 8. I think 8 is good, because 10 feels like too many. 12 feels like the perfect number, 1 a month, but I'm not ready for that. 10 still feels like too many. Let's say 8. But I think my goal really is to be not afraid of big books. It's not just to force myself to read them. It's to get over myself. Goal number 7 is to pay more attention to series. I kept this goal purposely pretty vague because I don't know exactly what my series rating is going to look like. There are definitely series that I would like to finish, but I'm so good at DNFing that I feel like if I put a number on it, I'll inevitably fail. But now I'm here, and this is the problem that happens when I start filming. I start getting ambitious. Okay, let's say the same thing. 8 books that I read have to be in a series, but not the first book. And I like this rule because it also counts for romances. And I'm gonna let it count for romances, even though no, it probably shouldn't count. But it's my channel, so ha ha ha. Because I've got a ton of them on my shelves right now. The second book in the Arusha Quartet, I think. A bunch of Leviathan Wakes books. I've only read the first one, but I did really enjoy it. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, this is number 3. But number 4 already came out, and I love these books. Also The Gilded Wolves, which I read in June of this year, and I said, I'm gonna pick up the sequel next month. And then I didn't pick it up for the rest of the year. Like, I need to do this because I want to do it, and I'm just scared. So we're getting over our fear in 2022. We've been through it all now, we're fear-proof. And then my 8th and final goal is a must-read list for 2022. I've done these the past couple of years. It's just 5 books that I've been intimidated by, that I need to just commit to, or admit it to myself that I'm never gonna read them. In terms of books that I own physically, this is basically non-negotiable at this point. We have Middle Game by Seanan Mcguire. This, I'm just convinced that I'm going to love it, and I'm too afraid of either loving it or not loving it. I was gonna say that sounds weird, but I'm sure many people can relate to that sentiment. Then I have Doll Factory by Elizabeth Mcneil. This I picked up over a year ago, and I think it's historical fiction, but the cover drew me in, and it's about like a circus. Some man is like keeping her in a cage. It sounds really interesting, but I also suspect that it won't be my thing, but I have to find out. Then I have The Princess Beard by Delilah S. Dawson and Kevin Hearn. This was another one that I bought on a whim, but it's a bit chunky. My impression of it is that it's like a satirical Princess Bride. I still love the cover and I love seeing it on my shelves, but I have to know if it's worthy of being on my shelves. And then for books that I don't own, Piranesi, this is something that's just like been around forever, and it seems like it's more fantasy, so a little bit out of my comfort zone, but still something I've been super drawn to. And then finally, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, because I just have to do it. Everyone loves it. It sounds like something I'm gonna love. I just have to do it. Clearly I'm having too much emotion and drive in this video that's gonna disappear January 1, I guarantee you. But at least we're done. Those are the 8 goals that I've set for myself in 2022. None of the goals seem especially lofty. I think they're all well within my power to complete, and I'm very excited to do that. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!